And then we got to the main event for not only the AEW title, but also the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And they've been plugging this match, MJF and Ricky Starks. And you could tell that MJF didn't have as much riding on this as Starks because MJF is already the champion. He's a lot more, I think we can say, established. He's a lot more confident. He knows what the he can do. And I think Starks was a little amped up here, a little excited, sort of like when we worked with the Road Warriors in their gimmick hometown of Chicago. They came out, they had goosebumps. It was a little rough for the first couple seconds. Starks kind of botched the first spot, and I started getting worried, but MJF knocked him over on his own clothesline, backed up, danced a little bit, started again, didn't get in a rush, and they got in a groove. And I was thinking at this point, where and when would MJF and Ricky Starks have worked with each other? Where would they have last time, if ever? Probably MLW, maybe. Would they have ever been in the same ring with each other? Can't think of it.
I don't have an answer for you. I'm assuming somewhere on the independents, but who knows if they even have.
But somewhere on the independents would have been a few years ago.
It would have been at least 3.5, 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that's pressure for the first time you ever work with a guy in the main event for the world title on national television. This was good. Even if Starks bobbled a thing or two, that's what they need to do is they need to have more matches. Starks needs to have more matches like this. A lot of the guys need to have more matches with a guy that understands what the business is and can put the heel that can call it and put a match together to showcase that individual's shit rather than just trying to do everything that all the other guys do, same way, same how. So that's why I said earlier MJF has taken the Punk spot where he has the wrestling match on the show with no funny shit. It makes sense. You know who the heel is, who the babyface is. The referee doesn't get buried. There's a story. People are actually trying to win stuff, not do fancy fake shit. They don't go too fast so that you understand things. They don't run off and leave you. It's not just meaningless car wrecks and highlight clips. At one point, MJF worked the abdominal stretch and did the thing where he leaned back Dennis Condrey and pulled on the rope for extra leverage. And the referee came around and caught it and kicked his arm off, and Starks hip tossed him out of an abdominal stretch, and the fans popped for it. Imagine that. Because it's wrestling, and it makes sense. So, again, Starks had one more bobble on a power bomb, but he recovered and he hit it, and it looked like MJF was trying to fight out anyway. But they were getting this is awesome chance for a wrestling match when a heel was getting heat. They chanted, this is awesome. They shouldn't, but they never see it anymore, so it's novel. And MJF, they finally get into a fucking hockey fight at the end, and they're both throwing them. And MJF wins the hockey fight exchange with a thumb to the eye, and people go, ooh. This would have been the point in everybody else's match where they'd all been doing dives over the top rope, standing there like slack-jawed morons waiting to catch some 200-pound imbecile coming off the roof on them. Obviously cooperating with each other, holding hands, doing dance routines, and or breaking furniture. These guys are getting this is awesome for thumbs to the eye. Because the people gave a shit. Not only about one guy, but about both guys. They wanted to see Starks win as much as they wanted to see MJF lose. And then MJF gets the armbar. Starks fights for the ropes, tries to reach the ropes. MJF traps his other arm. Starks is reaching with a one leg to put the foot on the ropes. MJF traps that. And then Starks gets the rope with the other leg, and the rope break got an ovation. Because that's the rules of the wrestling match. They got as big a pop with a goddamn rope break as these other morons get when they try to paralyze themselves and gives themselves a neck fusion, getting choke slammed through tables. And then they went back and forth until MJF hid behind the referee. And when Starks jerked the referee away so that he could get to MJF football kicked him in the balls and small packaged him. 1, 2, 3. Perfect finish. The heel cheated. The referee didn't see it. They built up with the back and forths to a peak with the ball shot, and then the heel capitalized on it. They didn't just do a flat finish out of nowhere when they ran out of other shit to do. So that was a main event wrestling match. If they had more of those and people could count on that they would see them, I don't know what these ratings do. You can tell me you can tell me in a minute, but they might be able to keep their audience more often if they got a diet of these matches where people would understand, hey, yeah, we can kind of suspect at the end of the show something's going to be good. I don't know whether they suspect that yet or not, but, and by the way, after MJF won, Danielson ran out and chased him out of the arena. Talk to me about this match, Brian.
There's not much more to add to it. It was a really good match, and like you said, it was a different kind of match. It was almost what you would have seen on TBS 35 years ago. That kind of match, and it got the fans into it. It was a hot crowd all night. They were into just about everything, except for the stuff they weren't. And they really liked this, and they were really into it, and MJF has been great, and you rarely get to see him wrestle, so it's always a big deal. I think if I had any complaint at all, really, it's that it didn't appear on its face to be the start of anything. It just seemed to be a transition to get MJF to Danielson here.
Yeah.
And that may hurt Ricky Starks more than not doing this at all.
Yeah, because I know they want to point to Danielson probably for the next pay-per-view, but this cannot be Ricky Starks' final word on a subject.
He's been great. He's been fantastic, and he's won over the fans completely.
Yeah, and he has to have some type of comeback on MJF. He has to have more to say. This is not over. If it is over, it's because, I've talked about before, you always need, if a babyface isn't going to win a belt, he needs a graceful way out and then a branch to go off with somebody else. And this right here was just, you want to see Starks get even. You want to see Starks and MJF again. You didn't come out with the feeling that anything's been settled. So if Starks doesn't get another opportunity or more opportunities to talk with, interact with, be opposite MJF in some kind of way, even if it's helping facilitate the transition to Danielson, it's just going to leave him, as Adrian Street used to say, like a spare prick at the wedding. And what were the ratings? Do you have that information?
Well, just one more thing. What were your thoughts on the post-match with Danielson?
Well, he came out, chased him down the ramp, chased him into the ring, and my DVR froze. So what the fuck happened?
That was really
anything else? That was it?
That was kind of it.
Well, then we know that everybody's got good cardio and they can still run after having a 20-minute match.